In the last video, we covered the theory of classes and objects. In this video, we will do a practical, we will do a demo. So we will have two classes and we will try to create an instance of another class. Basically, we will try to create an object of a class and we will then try to access the properties and we'll try to call the methods on that object. So let's start. In the last video, we took the example of a student. So let's create the same class, public class student. Student is the name of the class. Now, for now, let's make it public. Let's say, let's define a string property to hold the name, an integer property to hold the roll number, then a string property to hold the gender. And let's define a public method study. And in this method, let's print a simple message studying. Now we will cover the variables or the data types. How do we define integer, variable, string, data types, such things. And we will also cover methods, but in this, for this video, it is enough to understand that we are declaring three variables, basically three instance variables and a method in the student class. Now let's save it. Okay, let's save it. Student.java. And now let's verify I have two classes, student and my class, which I created uh, earlier for another video, but we will reuse the same class. So let's compile this again, and I can compile multiple files. Hmm. So again, we see that I made an error and compiler is reporting it. So let's fix it. Let me correct the spelling of public keyword. And again, let me close the double quotes now. Okay, here it is. So now we have the compilation successful. We have two classes. We have a class student, and now we want to create an object of this student class. How do we do that? So let's go to this class. And let's try to create the object of student. To do that, we create a variable of type student. So let's name it Andy. And then we call it in this way. So here we define a variable, we name it Andy, the type is student, and then we are creating a new object of class student by using the new keyword, which is provided by Java library, and then name of the class. So when JVM executes this line, it will create a new object of class student, and it will assign the object to this reference variable. We will understand the reference variables later of this type student, because we are creating an object of type student, so we cannot hold it in a different variable of a different type. The type must match. So if we are creating an object of student, the type of that variable must be student. Now let's update some properties, because if you notice, these variables or these properties are public. It means we can access them directly by using the object. So if we need to set the name, so let's set the name Andy. Andy dot roll number. Let's say it's 1234, ends with semicolon. Andy dot gender because it's string, so we will use double quotes, male. Now, let's try to print the properties. Let's see what happens now. System.out.println nd.name separated by comma, then comes nd.roll number separated by comma, nd.gender. So what we are doing, let's revise it again. So we are creating a new student of class student, then we are accessing the properties and we are setting them to some appropriate values, and then we are uh, using the same variables to print the details. Let's compile it again because we made some changes in the code. And now if we run the my class, we need to run the my class because my class is the one that has this main method. So if we run the my class, we see first it prints this system.out.println hello world, and then it prints this statement name nd separated by comma, roll number, and gender. Now, how do we call the method on that object? To do that, we simply need to call the method using a dot operator. So name of the reference variable nd dot name of the method. That's it. Let's compile it again and run it again. So here we see when we called the method study, it will execute the code written in that method. And if we notice, the method is simply printing a message on the console studying, and that's what we see on the console. So in this video, we saw how do we create an object of a class, how do we access the properties, and how do we call a method on an object. Thank you.